I was so excited in the beginning to get those first few deals. I started this process of just cleaning them up and working on them, and it was like an assembly line. And then I ran out of money, and that's when I had to like think, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I figured out maybe you're busting your hump too much. Seeing people are just psyched. I had at one point just like a kitchen that I hadn't even assembled. It was just like all the cabinets and everything were there, and they came in while I was in there, and I said, I cannot sell it to you like this. I'm sorry. And they convinced me to sell it to them. So
welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I'm very happily joined by a long-awaited guest. Matt, thanks for being here.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, John.
This is fun. I say long-awaited because we've been I've been wanting to do a podcast together for a little while, and we finally found the right topic, or you finally have enough experience, and we can give like a well-rounded picture of maybe mobile home investing, at least the way that it's been in your career. And that, I mean, for you, it's been smooth sailing. There's been no hurdles or any issues at all.
Super easy. Everything was just cut and dry. Yeah.
Great line. We'll talk about a lot of those hardships, and we'll scare away some people a little bit later in the call. But on this, like after all the struggles, we'll talk about you wanting to, give up in this business time and time again. But right now, after all the toiling, and you're still on your journey, but what do things look like week to week for you now?
Week to week, things are, I would say they're pretty smooth. I've got a routine now, and I've got park managers that I routinely talk to and speak with. And a lot of the relationships that I formed throughout the first year, those relationships are paying off now, where I don't have to do as much marketing because people are calling me. I still try to visit new parks and expand my territory when I can. I've been so busy, I haven't really had a chance to do that much lately. But so for the past couple of years, it was mainly mobile homes in your course. And then here in this year, I wanted to expand into single family homes and mobile homes on land. So that's what we're working on now. Kind of.
You said you still sort of foster those relationships with the managers. So you're still, you're still doing mobiles in parks, you're adding single family homes, you're adding mobiles on land. Mm-hmm. Was mobile homes in parks, and the folks listening right now, they don't maybe know your backstory or how long you've been in real estate, but were mobile homes in parks just a stepping stone for you to get to something else from the beginning? Or were you just, what was your thought when you first got into mobile home investing?
I guess I thought that I would just do that forever. Like, I've always wanted to have a mobile home park for whatever reason. There was a couple in the town that I grew up in, so I just thought it would be cool. And that's kind of how I got involved with you. And I would say that in the beginning, my plan was to just work with mobile homes in parks until I could save up and get a park of my own. Once I started to see how difficult it was for different reasons, I thought maybe expanding outside of parks might be a good idea. And so that's where we are today.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but started one way and then I kind of just deviated. I'll still do it. I'll still work in parks, but I want to expand it so I don't have to have that constant stress that I have from dealing with some of the things that come with working in a park.
Okay. We will talk about, I know people listening are just waiting to hear about when's that hammer going to fall.
Yeah, right.
Before we jump into that. So you're still in parks. You still are growing your reputation in parks. Yes, you have no intention of slowing down with mobile homes, or now you're moving to mobiles on land.
Yeah.
Have you looked at, do you feel like you're ready for an entire mobile home park yet? Or what's your thoughts there?
I would start with a small one. I'd like to get 20 spaces or less. I could not handle a big one, I don't think, unless I had a partner with more experience, and there's a few in the area, some owners that I've been talking to, and it seems like I can get in for under $300,000 maybe with like a 20 unit park that needs some work. And so I'm kind of really hoping to get one of those this year, maybe even 10 spots or less, something like that.
It's important for you to stay within 1 or 2 hours of where you are?
So far, yeah. I would like to stay close, just because another thing that happened the first year is I had trailers so far away. I was doing so much traveling, and I'm just tired of it. I can't drive anymore to get to a trailer that's 2 hours away.
If you don't mind me asking, what is your how many properties do you, or what percentage would you say that you're holding for payments versus you're just selling for cash?
It's probably like 90% we hold for payments.
Okay.
Most all of them are on payments. The ones I've sold for cash were few and far between.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't happen
Is,
much.
is that because you didn't advertise for cash, or no, there was just not as many cash buyers at the time?
We tried. I would have loved to get the cash, and that was one of my problems in the beginning was the cash flow. Every time that I set it up, it would end up being almost, when you work on payments, it's a long-term thing. You get the down payment, but then it takes like a year and a half to get your money back. And because I kept doing those kind of deals, it wasn't long before I realized that I was low on the capital to get more. And that was something I had to deal with and try to figure out why that happened. Um, I don't think it was the fact that I wasn't advertising. It just seems to be the market around here. People really value low down payments and the lower monthly payments. They would jump all over it. The cash buyers were just offering ridiculously low amounts. It wouldn't work for me.
And so now that you are a more successful, I guess that's such a just a what success to one person is not success to someone else. What would
Right.
you? What would you? How long have we been working together? A year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Year and a half, 2 years, I think overall. Yeah.
What's a trait? What are some traits? What are some characteristics that ideally people need to have, or they need to really learn quick if they don't have them? Do you think in this business?
Oh my gosh, patience and persistence. Like if you're not committed and you don't have a goal, I could see just the months, it goes by fast. It really goes by fast. I can't believe when you asked me how long we've been working together, 2 years. Like I remember just yesterday, the first time you called. So I would say that you better have some goals and you better really push yourself or before you know it, it's going to be a year and nothing happened. So I would say, yeah, the persistence and the goals, real big. Yeah.
Let's rewind and go. People now see sort of what you have accomplished. Can you roughly say the amount of? Well, I don't want to put you on the spot. The properties in your portfolio, more than 10, more than 20? Or?
A little more than 20.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere
That's all.
around the 20 mark. Yeah. And then total deals would probably be 25, maybe, if you count the ones for like cash and things like that.
Were those all, did you ever buy a package of homes, or were those all just bought one at a time?
Actually, one was a package. Yeah. At one point I bought 3 as a package from one park.
Okay.
And other than that, they were always just one. A lot of moves and things like that. Single.
When would you just say, so now that we've talked about that, and thank you for sharing sharing that. Let's go back in time to a year and a half ago, when you were getting into this business. Just kind of briefly, what was your real estate experience? Because I forgot as well, if what experience you had when you first came into this business. What were you expecting from mobile homes? And then I'll just kind of leave it to you. Yeah, what'd you find? How did your first few weeks and months go?
Okay. Yeah. So I had never had any investment really experience. I had a lot of programs and YouTube and reading books. I had read so many books. I had like the analysis paralysis thing. I was scared to make a move, I guess. I didn't know what to do. Real estate was just so daunting with the mortgages and the land and all that, real estate agents. So I think mobile homes to me seemed like it might be an easier foot in the door. And I had watched so many of your videos that I felt comfortable with you after the first phone call. I felt comfortable that you could get me to the point where I was making deals, and you did. Your course was amazing. And so I bought the course and we started working together. I think it maybe was in October, and I followed it step by step. I was gone a lot for about a month and a half, 2 months. And I think in that whole 2 months, I think maybe I only found 2 deals. And by the time I called you to show you the pictures and kind of ask your opinion, they were sold the next day. So anytime that I thought I found a good deal, it was gone just like that. And so it was kind of at that point where I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Is it me? Is it the area? A lot of the stuff, the trailers that I found were trash too. A lot of them that I showed you, they really probably needed to be burned.
Now, the deals that you say, you said you found 2 deals in that time.
Yeah.
Does that mean deals that they fit our criteria. There's something we would want to jump on or were you seeing high end homes and overpriced things and junk? Were you seeing that as well?
Yeah, it was one or the other. It was either really high priced in the nicer parks, or it was really low junk. So there was really nothing that fit my criteria except for these two. And I clearly remember them because I was excited. And I said, John, I want you to see these. Does this look good? And by the time we even talked, gone. So it was pretty discouraging. It was about 2 months of just constant work and driving. And I had nothing. And that's kind of when I really started to feel I never felt that your course wasn't great or that you weren't helping me. You were always there talking me through it and giving me suggestions. But I felt like maybe it was either my area or it was me. And I was just like, yeah, this isn't working. I don't know what it is. And I got really discouraged and kind of probably for a couple weeks there, I kind of fell off the face of the earth. I know I kind of stopped reaching out to you. And it might have even been a month where it might have been more than that, actually. There was a couple months where I know you would call and leave a message, and I was like, I just need a break. And who knows?
I knew it. I knew you were just dodging my phone call.
Yeah. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
But
you tried.
But that's you had every opportunity. Every investor that's been doing this for some amount of time has had the want and desire and hundreds of opportunities to give up.
Oh yeah, it was painful, and I just wasn't sure what to do. I had tried everything. You suggested that I go 50 miles in each direction. That's what it was. And so I went west to Alabama because I'm in Florida. So I went west to Alabama, and I started that whole process. And about a week or two later, somebody called me, and after that, things kind of started to take a turn for the better.
Do you think might be an obvious question, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Had you started in that area, I mean, looking back, you were doing the same thing, you just went a little further. Had you started in that area, you might have been fruitful sooner.
Absolutely.
Probably. Okay. Goes.
Yeah. Completely different thing going on. For whatever reason, the city that I'm in, it's a lot of like small mom and pop parks with maybe 7 or 8 trailers, and they do it on their own. They're not interested in the investor thing. And some of them are pretty kind of junky anyways, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, over there in Alabama where I am, it's just an up and coming area now, and things sell fast. So that really turned it around for me, was moving. And I think it's about an hour and a half away from me. So, it was good.
Would you say that most of your properties are still that way, or you're
the vast majority of them? Yeah, I think we're like 95% are there. So I can't get away from there. Every time I can find the deals, I can sell them fast, and it's a great place to be. And I think if I had started there, it would have been a completely different year. But even still, it wasn't even easy at that point. I remember just feeling like I wanted a deal so bad. I almost would have done anything, and I kind of did do some things I probably shouldn't do. I did a couple deals that I probably shouldn't have done, but I just wanted a deal so bad that I took them.
Your first few especially, or just to kind of keep those numbers chugging? Okay.
The first couple. Well, the first one wasn't bad, but the first 3 were moves. I moved them from private property into parks. And I remember in your course, you kind of said, you don't really want to do a move the first couple if you don't have to, but I think I had to. So that was another thing. I just kind of moved forward with that, and it ended up working out. I connected the buyers or the sellers with parks that would do the move for me. They paid for the move. So I got a lot of experience with the moving there and that kind of thing.
And knock that out first and rip off that Band-Aid. Now any other homes that have to be moved, and it's a conveyor belt. There's always more of those homes. After those 3 that you moved, have you gone back to it or?
No? Yeah, it's about 50-50. So for every one that I buy in a park, I move one. And I'm not afraid, because if I can find a park that has 5 or 6 spots, and I know like 3 or 4 movers now, so we can get it in there within a couple weeks, and it's fun.
Have you used Park A as testimonial for the new parks, or they don't even ask that?
They've never called and talked to them, but I definitely use it. I'll say, oh, I've got 5 in this park over here if you want to call them, and I've worked with this guy, and they're just like, okay, that sounds good to me. and
Right.
it kind of works out. Yeah. Nobody's grilled me on it yet.
You got, yeah, right. You got the money. It's like,
All right. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
that's okay. So, again, going back to those first couple of months, um, part of me thinks that that had to be, well, I don't know how much you were spinning your wheels in that same area and going, in a radius, 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, that does take weeks and weeks. Plus you have other things going on in your life. So
Yeah.
I don't want to minimize it, but I feel like you sort of had to do that to realize, okay, my area isn't as fruitful as I want to be, or maybe
Yeah.
you're going to do those higher end beach homes.
Had to do it.
I feel like that's part of it. Now that's easy for me to say because I wasn't, spinning my literally in the car, just spinning my wheels, being frustrated, being demoralized every day, and then getting
It's
up and doing it again on faith. You've never done this. You hear me
yeah.
talking about it and other people, but you had to push yourself all those times.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough for a couple months there, and I've got my wife looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Because you said you were going to do this.
Oh,
She
God,
didn't. She didn't really do that, but that's how I felt.
of
You know
course.
what I mean? I felt like I was failing, even though I knew in my head that I was doing everything that I should, and I trusted you. But it wasn't really a great feeling. Um, and I'm not like that kind of person that's like, whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty successful and confident in most things I do. So this one really kind of just threw me. Uh, but I was so happy once I started getting the deals because it proved to me that the course does work and what you were saying is true. And at that point, I was off to the races. You know what I mean? But it was just getting through that first, the pressure that I put on myself may have been harder than what was actually going on. Because 2 months, big deal. You didn't get them all in 2 months, big deal. That's not that long. But when every single night I'm in my own head, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you got to get one. It was a long 2 months. You know.
What are you doing wrong? What can I be doing different? Maybe I should be doing this over here. Maybe.
Yeah. And you don't know when you're new. You really don't know. You don't know what is going on, if it's you or if it's the people, or maybe your presentation is off, or is it the area? Because I remember being overwhelmed. Like there was so much to do and so much to think about, um, because at this point, I'm still trying to find my first deal. I haven't even figured out all the paperwork and like the trust. It took me like 2 months for you to explain what a trust was to me, or how to set it up. I don't know how many times I had to call you to ask you about a trust because I just couldn't get it into my head. But yeah.
That's, thank you for sharing that. Seriously,
So,
it's not all, no, it's not all roses, but I don't know if there's enough of this. I don't, I think there should be, going into something completely new and foreign, you're building something up from scratch. And you're
yeah.
learning so many new things. You didn't even know the right paperwork and you weren't really even getting, it's not like you kept getting out. Well, you kind of did get outbid a couple times or we didn't act quick enough those 2 times, but you weren't even like, you didn't even have to get out of your car. You're like, there's nothing for sale. There's nothing in
No.
my price. It wasn't like I'm going to appointments and people don't like me or I'm getting,
Right.
it's just like this. Yeah, I can see why you're just, what's going on? This doesn't seem like anything I've heard before or learned. And,
Yeah.
but you
It
pushed
was just,
through. Persistence.
yeah.
Sorry, I
Um,
cut you off there.
no, I was gonna say it was just a struggle, just trying to get that first deal. And now looking back, I think it was a good thing because every deal that I get now, I appreciate so much more. It feels good.
I mean, that the credit goes to you, seriously.
I don't
I
know,
mean,
John.
the so I've done enough of these podcasts to know that it is a common theme as much as we try that on your first deal. I don't know if I've ever interviewed someone that says, I pay too little, or like, it's always
Oh
I
yeah.
overpay. I want to do my first deal, and I probably could have held out a little bit longer. I could have did this, but okay. So for your first couple, I think you even said it yourself. You may have overpaid. Was that just in the acquisition? Was that in the move? Yeah. Where was that? Or how did you?
Yeah, the acquisition, you're supposed to give three offers. You do it the cash offer, and then you do maybe a little bit of cash and some payments, and then all the payments. I started too high, or maybe I made like one of the options just so juicy that the buyer had to take it. And so I went in. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like the price he was asking, maybe like 6 grand just on payments, but nothing down. Um, and of course, he jumped all over it. my plan was for him to say, no, I want cash. And then I would do this, then I would give him an option that worked for me, but he just took the option in the beginning. So my wife was like, why did you do that? So I learned a couple times.
Well, what was the, so, okay. So it's nothing, you said nothing down in payments. Was it worth
Yeah, it
that?
was
That
like,
sounds good
it
terms.
was good. I mean, it was okay, but I mean, it was like an older trailer. I probably could have maybe started a little lower. So that was just like one kind of thing but I was so excited to have the deal. I didn't care, but I really didn't care. I would have paid anything and I got it. So, but I think I was just a little too excited. So my offers were a little too good because I just wanted to get one. I wanted one of those fish to bite, and he bit. And so,
You got the deals. And that was the 3 homes, right?
yes, yes.
Going
Yep.
from nothing to like those 3.
Oh yeah, and
From
then it just went like that. It just kept going like that, where I got in over my head because then I just started taking everything. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And
you brought up a big hurdle or speed bump where you said eventually after a number of homes you were running low on funds or had ran out of funds or were close. What did you said a couple minutes ago, I had to figure that out, or that's something that we figured out. What did you figure out, or did you rob a bank, or would you
you know what I figured out? So what I was doing was trying to make the homes perfect. So I was going in there and I was replacing all the carpet and I was doing everything. And one of these, I think I bought the mobile home for $2,500. I put $9,000 worth of work into it. Paint, carpets, really nice carpets, the thick ones, plush, everything. And I ended up selling it. So I might have been in 12,000. I sold it for 35,000 on payments, and they put 5,000 down. But what they did, and you might remember this one, they went in and tore everything out that I did. They said, "Oh, we don't like the carpet. We're changing the paint." And I had been in there for 2 months, busting, my hump and the guy working for me, and then they just went in and tore it all out. And so it was at that point where I said to myself, maybe I don't need to do so much. And so I started selling true handyman specials, and that made a big difference in the amount of capital that I could hold on to. But I guess, and I also had turned kind of into a handyman. So I was doing most of the work myself because I know how to do it. So I have a real hard time not doing it and paying somebody else to do things. That was another thing I had to check myself, just because I know how to do it and I can save money. The next thing you know, I'm out there, I'm a handyman working for myself. And it was not something that I want to do. I don't want to be a handyman, you know?
Did you have to talking about checking yourself? Was it, and maybe you kind of already admitted it, that it was that lesson. It was realizing you busted your hump in this house and you made it the way you want. And then the people just didn't share that vision. Could you have sold something as a handyman special prior, or would that have eaten away at you and you wouldn't have?
I could have done it from the beginning. Looking back, I could have done it. And then I did start doing it after that, and they were selling. And I never thought people would buy some of the things in the condition that I had them in, with no carpet, or maybe a part of the floor needed to be replaced. Who would buy that? But after that happened, I tried it, and they buy them. And I can save my money. I can make just the same amount of profit. I just sell it for less, and I didn't put all the work in. And once I realized that, because some of it had to do with I was so excited in the beginning to get those first few deals, I started this process of just cleaning them up and working on them, and it was like an assembly line. And then I ran out of money, and that's when I had to think, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I figured out maybe you're busting your hump too much. And so it was a big realization that I had.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just something that we learn. Our buyers, we want a happy buyer that they know what they're buying. We haven't sold them something that we were lying to them about. They know what they're getting into. They're happy with the price and terms. They have the skill set to do the work. We don't want to cloud our vision with just how you want it. I mean, you came into that home and did it the way you wanted to, from single family, or what you thought was the right way to do it.
Yeah, where I would live.
Right. And you can sell a home. And I want people to listen to this, as an investor. Let me know what you think about this, Matt. As an investor, we have, even if you've just been doing this a couple years or less, you have so much more knowledge than the average regular person. And the folks that we sell to, an investor can definitely take advantage of people. We're in a position of like authority and power, and it happens across the country. People are taken advantage of by investors, and it's so easy to do. We can sell junk for overpriced amounts. We can take advantage of people on the move-in fee and the down payments, and people can only pay what they'll pay, but we can take advantage of people. And I think it's just important to acknowledge that if you are selling something with a hole in the floor or multiple holes or this or that, you're disclosing things. People know what they're buying. They know the price. They know the numbers. We vetted them. They've jumped through a number of hoops. So I just, again, if you put yourself into that person's eyeballs, apparently in their mind, they're thrilled. I mean, I'm not going to judge them for being happy.
No, they were happy to get the home for less. They love it. You know what I mean? It's way better. And so that's what I've seen. People are just psyched. I had at one point just like a kitchen that I hadn't even assembled. It was just like all the cabinets and everything were there, and they came in while I was in there, and I said, I cannot sell it to you like this. I'm sorry. And they convinced me to sell it to them. So that was an extreme case. I didn't want to, but I said, okay, well, this is what we'll do it for. And they agreed.
How'd they convince you? Just talking and being
cash.
Okay.
Yeah. Cash talks, John.
I'll do it. Yes. Okay. Say no more.
Yeah.
I hope that video was helpful. The investors that I interview on this channel are people that I work with. And the credit goes to them. We spend a good deal of time together over the phone, working on deals, looking at pictures, making offers together. But the folks that I work with, the folks that I interview, including a lot of folks that have their own YouTube channels now. I've been helping folks for the past 10 years invest in mobile homes, and I really help to keep people out of trouble, save people money, and make people a lot of money as well. Now, the people I interview on this channel, again, the credit goes to them. Yes, there's a lot of time that we spend together, but ultimately it's that investor, just like it might be you in the future, putting in the time and the effort and the energy and having 1,000 opportunities to just give up along the way. If you think that this is something for you, if you'd like to learn more about mobile home investing, you can check out a free website, mobilehomeinvesting.net. Should be right up here somewhere. And then if you want to get started working one-on-one potentially or learn more about what that takes, you can always go ahead and go to the website below that you see right there, and you can learn more about moving forward with a training program called the Mobile Home Formula, and us working together one-on-one with daily phone calls, daily help as needed. This business is real time. You're going to have questions. Things change day to day. If you can believe it, in real estate, it just changes day to day like that. You're seeing new things, you're talking to new people, and you should have somebody on your side. Somebody that has over 18 years of experience and has helped a number of people with some crazy situations and stories. And I don't say that to brag or anything. I just say that because there's a lot of weird situations out there that I might not have believed him if I didn't go through them, firsthand or secondhand, helping so many people from the East Coast to the West Coast, or the West Coast to the East Coast, depending on which way this video is turned. Okay, so thanks so much for watching this video. Again, I really hope that it was helpful. If we never work together, you can always email me. My email's always on for you again, support@mobilehomeinvesting.net. If you ever need me, support@mobilehomeinvesting.net regardless. And then anything else, have a great rest of the day. I hope that you learned so much. Take massive action. You can do this. If you have any questions, reach out. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.